Hi, BookTube, it's Amy, and I'm reading today again from the Anatomy of Bibliomania by Holbrook Jackson. We are on page 114 of my edition, beginning the seventh part, Study and Book Learning, with a section titled The Fascination of Study. In any catalogue of the uses of books, high place must be given to the delight of knowledge and learning, which, as some point out, surpasseth all other in nature. For in all other pleasures there is satiety, and after they be used, their ruder departeth, which showeth well they be but deceits of pleasure, and not pleasures, and that it was the novelty which pleased, and not the quality. Therefore we see that voluptuous men turn friars, and ambitious princes turn melancholy. But of knowledge there is no satiety, satisfaction and appetite being interchangeable. To most kind of men it is an extraordinary delight to study, says Robert Burton, for what a world of books offers itself in all subjects, arts and sciences, to the sweet content and capacity of the reader. It is indeed a world of endless exploration and uncountable adventures, full of strange countries, people, animals, wonders, beauties, terrors, astonishments. It has treasures and riches, curiosities, freaks, fantasies, monsters, hobgoblins, fays, gnomes, satyrs, nymphs, trees, flowers. With buds and bells and stars without a name, with all the gardener fancy air could feign, who breeding flowers will never breed the same, a world without end, for all that mankind has done, thought, gained, or been, is lying as in magic preservation in the pages of the books. Books are the universe in print, nay, eternity, the sure preservatives of events. Troy owes to Homer what Whist owes to Howell. The present century was growing blind to the great Marlborough's skill in giving knocks, until his late life by Archdeacon Cox, quoting there from Byron. And if, as George Herbert attests in Jacula Prudentum, the years know more than books, which needs no defense, without books the years would have less significance. For books are the reading glasses of time, and knowledge the quarry out of which these jewels, books, are digged. And we've got a line in Latin, which apparently is from Lord de Telby's book plate. Haurit aequam cribus qui vult sin discere libris. Who, without books, essays to learn, draws water in a leaky urn. They reflect the present and summon up remembrance of things past. A book itself, as I have quoted out of Carlyle, is a university. Gibbon's autobiography supplied the place of a college for Mark Pattison, not only giving advice, but inspiring him to follow it. What magic casements are opened by them all the wonderlands of knowledge, mathematics, sociology, biology, chemistry, astronomy, psychology, medicine, geology, anthropology, etc., of which so many and such elaborate treatises are of late written, in mechanics and manufactures, crafts and trades and their mysteries, military matters, aeronautics, navigation, riding of horses, fencing, cricket, racing, swimming, golf, billiards, tennis, hunting, motoring, fishing, fowling, etc., with exquisite pictures of all the sports and games and what not. In music, art, poetry, philosophy, philology, heraldry, bibliography, genealogy, topography, geography, etc., they afford great tomes, or of those studies of antiquity, archaeology, ethnology, paleontology, history, and the like, what so speculative, what so pleasant, what vast tomes are extant on law and divinity, for profit, pleasure, practice, or speculation. The names of books alone fill whole volumes, all manners of authors of all manners of kinds, offering endless feasts to suit all palates. Some take an infinite delight to study the very languages wherein these books are written. Greek, Latin, Hebrew, French, German, Italian, Syriac, Sanskrit, Chaldaic, Arabic, etc. Methinks it would please any man to peruse those excellent books of travel, put out by Cook, Mungo, Park, Wallace, Waterton, Marco Polo, Shackleton, Bruce, Scott, Hakluyt, Richard Burton, Mary Kingsley, Nansen, Dampier, Sven Hedin, Doherty, and to go with them to the ends of the earth, and never go forth the limits of his study, to read those exquisite descriptions of cities, temples, pictures, monuments of Ruskin, John Addington Symonds, Walter Pater, Arthur Symonds, Pierre Lodi, Sacheverell, and Osbert Sitwell, those famous histories of Herodotus, Thucydides, Caesar, Livy, Tacitus, Suetonius, Gibbon, Napier, Macaulay, Grote, Mommsen, Green, those natural histories of Pliny, Linnaeus, Buffon, Cuvier, Darwin, Faber, Hudson, those accurate diaries and curious confessions of Benito Cellini, Evelyn, Pepys, Sully, Rousseau, Marie Bashkirchev, Blunt, Barbellion, those pleasant epistles of Cicero, Pliny, Walpole, Lamb, Madame de Sévigné, Edward Fitzgerald, Keats, Cooper, Lady Mary Montagu, giving us privy to their familiar affairs, tastes, ambitions, aspirations, etc. The curious itineraries of Johnson, Boswell, Davidson, Edward Lear, Richard de Gallion, Hilaire Belloc, Aldous Huxley, Lady Duff Gordon, Dufferin, and all the essays, poems, novels, tales that make up this multicolored and multitudinous world flowing with milk and honey. To see well-cut herbals, entomologies, ornithologies, conchologies expressed in their proper colors to the life. To see birds, beasts, and fishes of the sea, spiders, gnats, scorpions, serpents, flies, living and extinct monsters, etc., all creatures set out by the same art or by photo engravings, lithography, colotype, stencil, etc., and truly expressed in lively colors, with an exact description of their natures, virtues, qualities, etc., as hath been accurately performed by various cunning artificers of past and present times. What more pleasing studies can there be than these? Such is their excellency that, I say with Burton, all those ornaments and childish baubles of wealth are not worthy to be compared with them. I could live and die with them, as he saith, and take more delight, true content of mind in them, than thou hast in all thy wealth and sport, whoever and how rich soever thou art. And as Cardan well seconds him. And we've got some more Latin here. Honorable magis est et gloriosum haec intelligere quam provincis priis atque juvenum es. It is more honorable and glorious to understand these truths than to govern provinces and to be young. To most persons, books are but an amusement, an interlude between the hours of serious occupation. But the scholar is he who has found the key to knowledge and knows his way about in the world of books. So sweet is the delight of study. The more learning he has, the more he covets to learn, as he that hath a dropsy, the more he drinks, the thirstier he is. And the last day is the pupil of its predecessor, prioris disciplinus. The longer he lives, the more he is enamored of the muses. The zeal of learning is never out of date. The example, were there no more, burns before one as a sacred fire, forever unquenchable. And well it may, for there is no treasure so much enriches the mind of man as learning. For learning, nature acknowledgeth a reason by leaving industry to finish her unperfect work. For without learning, conceit is like a fruitful soil without tilling, the memory like a storehouse without wares, the will like a ship without a rudder. Quoting there from A.B. to the Reader in the End of Nero, etc., Tacitus. I may therefore boldly conclude as I begin this chapter with Francis Bacon, quoting or alluding there to advancement of learning. I may therefore boldly conclude as I began this chapter with Francis Bacon, and that which hath rationem totius, which is that learning dispossesseth the constitution of the mind, not to be fixed or settled in the defects thereof, but still to be capable and susceptible of growth and reformation. So learning makes us capable of growth and reformation, he says. And there's a big, long list of excellent authors to be read in this particular section. I'm sure someone could occupy their entire reading life for years and years with just the authors mentioned on page 116 between Cicero and Belloc. Lots to read there. But that is the end of that section. On page 117, next time we'll be reading section 2 here, titled What Seek These Studious Ones, which I think is slightly longer passage than today's, but we'll leave it at that for now.